Hey everybody, I was just thinking a bit today that on my last video, or video I posted earlier this weekend, I talked a bit about my Musketeer companions, and I think it would be a good idea. One thing I don't normally see, or that you don't normally see, is people just talking about every single companion. So I'm going to try that today. I'm going to just do kind of I want to say maybe like a comprehensive guide on how I personally choose to use companions. Now, every companion has their own specific use and specific advantages to the way you use them. But and then everyone's entitled to use them the way they want to. Now, I think that some ways that people use companions are bad. Like if you have Bonnie Ann, don't give her, I don't know, quick draw 3. You might want to use her in a little bit of a different sense. So I define companions, me personally, as offensive and defensive. Some people define them based off of who's better for PvE and PvP, and that's fine. But I for one, think that there's some companions that are better for defensive situations and offensive situations, and they both have their advantages in those situations, and you may prefer one of them depending on it. So let's just jump into it before I go on a ramble that doesn't make any sense. So I kind of organized my companion list this morning, and I might change this throughout, just as I'm talking and thinking more about the placement of these companions. But I've organized them by a class that I have. So first I'm going to go through my Musketeer companions. Now some of these companions that I have, most Musketeers will not have, and that's okay if you do not have one. They just happen to be on my team, and if you don't have them, it's not really going to change how I use my Musketeer, because most of these guys that I have don't make my top 3. But anyway, we're going to just go into it. So I talked a little bit about Chantal last time, and I think Chantal is the perfect balance of offense and defense. And when I say that, I mean that Overwatch 3 is the... Sorry about that, I had to move my vehicle around. Anyway, so as I was saying, I think I said Chantal's the perfect mix of defense and offense, but what I mean for that is that she's the perfect fit for me, and what I define as the perfect Musketeer build for a companion is Overwatch 3 or 4 or 5, Double Tap 2, and Burst Fire 2, because they're just going to destroy everyone. And it really is just a benefit that she has a super strike and 2 sniper shots that crit, and then that agility boost. She is the just quintessential, the needed companion. She has to be in your top 3. She has to be. She has to be your first mate, just so you can get that agility buff. But this is how I use her. Like I said, I use the Burst Fire 2, Double Tap 2, and Overwatch 3. That's just what I think is the best way to build her. Now, some people build her differently, but this is what I would say. I don't know exactly what power she has. I think she has like quick draw and quick adjust, and I can debate. I can understand a quick adjust here. But in terms of just battle dominance or just ideal battle composition, I think that this is the best spot. And next we got Bonnie, who's also a very good build for a Musketeer. Now she has the advantage over Chantal in that she gets a couple more, excuse me, a couple more, or just one more, what was that, talent, epic, or I think it's an epic. She actually gets 2, but Stock Assault she gets from her last promotion, so I don't really count that. But I find Quick Draw to be, I usually have quick Draw. If she has Quick Adjust, I can understand you switching that out too. But the way I have her now is the Double Tap 2, Burst Fire 2, and Overwatch 3. Now the way I like to use Musketeers is, or the way I see a Musketeer as a class in general, is I think it's a very defensive class in terms of like powers and talents and everything like that. So let's just look at this. Like most of our powers are kind of just surrounding by, hey, we need to destroy these guys before they get to us. We gotta put some traps down. We gotta put some bombs down. We just have to shoot a bunch of enemies in a small area. And I think that with Overwatch 3, you solidify that defensive approach. Because for those who don't know, Overwatch 3 gives you gives the enemy minus 50% accuracy. So say you have 2 companions with that, and then I believe myself, I have Overwatch 3. Let me check. Yeah, I have Overwatch 3. So if one guy approaches us, that's minus 50% accuracy every time. He will not hit you. He just will not hit you. So I just find that Overwatch 3 is a very, very strong a strong epic to have as a Musketeer. But this is, I'd say, a basic build for Bonnie. Bonnie's just a very good companion to have in general. She's probably better for Musketeers and Swashbucklers and anyone who can boost off agility, maybe Privateers. But, you know, she comes with a heal, and then she comes with Stock Assault, which is, I'm not a big fan of Stock Assault, but I think it's nice when she can use the power when someone misses. Then Scatter Blast, which is a classic, and then, you know, Double Tap 2, Stock Assault, Burst Fire 2, Overwatch 3. Quick Draw, but I think that last one can be kind of interchangeable. You can do Double Tap 3 or Burst Fire 3. I think that would be very understandable. Oh, whoa, what's going on? Sorry about that. So that's my Bonnie build. I think pretty basic. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy.
Yes, Captain.
Next, let's go to Nausicaa. And Nausicaa, she's alright. I normally have her in the top just because, you know, she's got a decent amount of damage, but I'd put her as maybe a mid-tier, maybe like a B or an A companion. She's really good, but she's not amazing, at least to me. Now she does come with these 2 epics, but these 3 epics, well, I guess 4. But the only problem is that they require her to move across the battle board. Now she can move pretty far with it, but it sometimes can be a little bit of an annoyance. Now, I don't think she comes with Overwatch 3. Maybe she does. I haven't really changed any of the powers on her in a long time. But my current build of her is Double Tap 2 and Burst Fire 2 and then Quick Adjust 2. And I guess because she was missing a lot. Like I said, I haven't changed her much. If I had the choice to change her, or if I could, maybe next time I get a membership I will, I probably would maybe have just Quick Adjust 1. Or if she can get Overwatch 2, I'd probably do that. Or maybe just like Overwatch 3, Burst Fire 2, then Double Tap 1 or something like that. But like I said, I don't know if she has Overwatch. Some companions don't. But she's an alright companion. She has a lot of armor and magic resist compared to most other Musketeers who have a lot of magic resist. So that's very helpful for when she does any of these powers. So if you want to do something like that, I could see you going for it. But right now, I put her in my 3rd slot if I really don't have anybody, if someone dies and if I just need a decent Musketeer to come in. But yeah, she's alright. Anyway, let's go to Billy the Kid, who I just got a couple months ago, and I just did all his promotions a couple months ago, or his one promotion a couple months ago. And he is actually, I really like him, so that's why I have him kind of high. His powers aren't amazing, but he crits a lot for my guy, and just he attacks so fast, so that's why I really like having him on the team. But right now, my current build, he comes with the Mastery, which is really good against Witch Doctors and Privateers and stuff like that. Then Quick Draw 2, Burst Fire 2, and Double Tap 2. I don't think he can get a level 3 on any epics. He might be able to, but I'm not too sure. But that's my current build of him. He's nothing too special, so I'm not going to spend too much time on him, but I just really like him, and he crits a lot on my guy, so I just like having him. But granted, Musketeers don't get him. I got him from the Crown Shop, so for regular Musketeers, I mean, I think he's a worthy investment, but he was just one I really wanted to get. So, yeah. Next is Duck Holiday, who's one of the Magnificent Seven that we actually get. And he is really good, especially since he gets Overwatch. Now, I think he comes with Quick Draw. I'm pretty sure he comes with Quick Draw. So if I had my ideal build, now, I think at level 75, he'll probably be able to get another epic in the next update. So my ideal build would be, you know, Overwatch 3, Burst Fire 2, Double Tap 2. But right now I'm rocking Quick Draw, Double Tap 2, Burst Fire 2, and an Overwatch. And as he gets more promotions or more stuff like that, I'll increase the Overwatches. He also gets the Musketeer's Mastery, the same as Billy the Kid, so not much of a difference there. But he's really cool. He attacks pretty fast, and I just like him. So I have him usually towards the top. Last of my Magnificent Seven companions that I have on this guy is Wild Bill Peacock, who I also got from the Crown Shop. Now, he's okay. I haven't used him a whole lot, but I know he uses Burst Fire fairly often. That's what I like about him. He doesn't crit as much as I'd like him to, so that's why I have him at the bottom. And he attacks kind of slowly. But right now, he comes with the Musketeer's Mastery, as all of the Magnificent Seven shooter companions have. He comes with Burst Fire. I give him Burst Fire 2, Double Tap 2, Quick Draw, and Quick Adjust. And I think he has maybe He's about the same level. I'm surprised Billy the Kid actually has more armor, but I guess I did give him armor. But Billy the Kid has more armor out of all of them. He's pretty solid when it comes to the companions. He's the more accurate one, it looks like, and he has more dodge, or not mid-tier dodge, but he's a pretty good one to have. I just really like the Magnificent Seven companions, so I really wanted to add them to my team. So you'll probably, as you can see, I really wanted to get a lot of Musketeers on this team, so you'll see a lot throughout this list. Moving on, Lefty is one that I just really liked, and he's very underutilized on a Witch Doctor, because he's not really good to have on a Witch Doctor. So I wanted to see how he was on a Musketeer, and he's not that bad. He's not that bad. He comes with a Epic Strike after his promotion, and has Overwatch, Burst Fire 2, and quick and Double Tap 2. Now he could probably be used defensively, but I prioritize offense over defense when it comes to PvE. So that's just the way I have him built, and he's not that bad. I haven't used him a whole lot because I only got him recently. But overall, I'd say maybe a good old B tier companion. Anyway, so Moresco de Valvita. He's okay. He's not too bad. He attacks fairly decent speed-wise, and he has pretty decent talents, but I don't think his range is that impressive, if I remember correctly. I haven't used him in a while. But he comes with an incendiary shot, which is actually pretty cool. I would prefer an Epic Strike or, a Super Strike or something like that, but, not that bad. And then I gave him Burst Fire 2, Double Tap 2, Quick Adjust, and Quick Draw, because he could not train. Like, I don't think he might be able to train these to 3, but I don't really see the desire in putting those up to 3. So I didn't really train him all the way up there. But he's not too bad. He crits fairly average, fairly decently. And I think, let me look at his armor. He comes with decent armor and decent resist, so I guess if I could compare him to anybody, he's kind of like an inverse Nausicaa, except with little worse range, but he is not too bad. I just wanted to get him because I was curious how he would be, because I saw his epics, and he's okay. I wouldn't say he's a worthy investment by any means, because I think he's a lot of crowns, but he is not too shabby. Anyway, I think that covers most of the crown shop companions I have on this guy. Anyway, moving on to an actual main Musketeer companion is Louis Lebisque, and I'd say this is the first, one of the first defensive companions we have here. Now, I'm not very good when it comes to defensive mindset when it comes to companions. Now, I think my current build of him is okay, but if I could change him up, I probably would. Overwatch 3 I would keep, and then I had Double Tap 2 and Quick Draw 2. I'd probably change the Quick Draw 2. Maybe just give him one Double Tap, and then see if I can give him better defensive stats there. But that's my current build of him. Because Louis, he comes with traps, and he comes with a trap and some bombs and a Super Strike. So he is not a bad companion by any means. I think he has decent armor and decent resist. Yeah, very decent, very good. So he's pretty good to have in a fight that you don't need to attack a lot in. So like, say you're farming and you just don't want to take a lot of damage or something like that. I don't know. There's some fights you can use him in that he'd be very beneficial. Because, I mean, say you're in Marleybone and you're fighting a bunch of Dragoons, you really don't want Chantal to come in with like Burst Fire 2 and just never land a hit. So if you still want to rock a Musketeer and who can lay down some traps and do some damage, I would recommend him if you're going up against a Dragoon or something like that. But yeah. So that's my Louis build. I really like him, so I have him up. I usually have him on my first page. He's a pretty decent companion. Like I said, I really like the armor and the resist. For those of you who don't know, this is just straight up, just takes that much damage off a physical attack, and same for incoming magic attack and stuff like that. Anyway, so here's my another crown shop companion I have, and I just got him recently as well. I haven't used him much on this guy. I think I'd put him below Louis just because Louis comes with the bear trap, which is a pretty strong one. But I think Exeteer would be probably, I feel like he'd be really good in PvP. Just because he can get some pretty decent talents, like Overwatch 3 would be good to have. And like I said, I'd probably, next time I get a membership, I'll probably change, like, I think he comes with Return Fire, but I probably maybe just have a Double Tap 1 and then maybe a couple more True Grits or something like that just to throw in. I think True Grit 3 gives you pretty decent, pretty decent stats. But he comes with these agility, not agility, but movement speed reductions, which are pretty interesting to have. But I don't see the appeal in them in PvE, unless you're like in Valencia Part 2, maybe, where those guys can just use their powers to walk pretty far. I don't know if that would counteract that, but yeah. He also comes with the Musketeer's Medal, which is kind of the same to that Musketeer's Mastery that the Magnificent Seven guys had, except this also reduces damage, so it's not just for witch doctors that I could see this being an advantage. Anybody, it'd be really nice to have that use this on, like a boss or something like that. And he comes with the Super Strike, because this is the main privateer companion guy, so, or he's the crown shot version of him. So yeah, he's not bad. I'd say he's better for PvP than anything. You know, to each their own. Next we have Private Mills, who's actually really one of my favorites, and he's the only reason, because he's one of my favorites, is probably the only reason I have him above some of my other guys. But I'd probably put him above Exeter if I didn't want to use Exeter more. But I just like him. He crits a lot on my guy, and he uses these powers pretty often, and his crits look pretty cool. And he's got pretty decent stats, like not bad magic resist, not bad armor. And yeah, I didn't check. Exeter's got pretty decent armor and resist too. But yeah, I like him. He's got Overwatch, Burst Fire 2, Double Tap 2, and he gets a promotion. I think if I had my only change, if he could get another Overwatch or something like that, that'd be pretty sweet. But I just really like him. He doesn't get used a whole lot, but he's just a really nice companion to have, I think. So yeah, show him some love. If you want to get some Private Mills on your team, he's not bad at all. He's pretty good. Anyway, coming on next, we got Xena, which is the one that everyone gets. And she's probably the best of the ones that everyone gets. Depends on how you use some of the other companions. But she comes with some decent talents. I think she comes with Return Fire. Now, looking at this build I have of her currently, I think any changes I would probably make is I'd probably get rid of Overwatch and just give her a Double Tap 2 or something like that. But I'm okay with this build. But she doesn't really have that many epics. These Rain of Fire, I really don't care much about the Rain of Fire. It's okay. But she comes with an Epic Strike, which is nice. She's just kind of, I want to say underwhelming, because she's pretty decent when you're in Aquila and stuff like that. But then when you get to Valencia Part 2, I'd say she's kind of doesn't have enough epics to really keep up. Like, I mean, you look at Chantal and Bonnie, who have all these epics. What do they have? They have 7 epics, and then she comes in with 4 that you can give her. Well, 5, I guess, if you count Return Fire, but 5 epics versus 7. I just think it's a little better, because you can just use a lot more with the 7 than the 5. Like, I can't invest as much into her. But yeah, she's okay. I'd put her as like a B tier. I have her below Mills just because Mills on this guy performs a lot better than Xena. But yeah, she's okay. So I'd still recommend getting her for Aquila. Anyway. You have Joe Bean, the Chicken Sheriff, right here. And he's actually not bad either. I'd say he's probably pretty much the same as Lefty. I have Lefty higher just because he's new and has a 2-level higher advantage. He's not bad. Joe Bean is not bad at all. Everyone gets their own name, but the Chicken Sheriff, I like him a lot. He comes with an Epic Strike. I think he comes with Quick Draw 2. And I give him Burst Fire 2 and Double Tap 2. And, you know, classic. I like to use him as an offensive guy. But he's not bad at all. Not much I can say about him, but, yeah, he's pretty decent. Next we have Holly Jolly Roger, which I actually got this previous Christmas, or the Christmas before. So I haven't really used him a lot. And just looking at the epics I gave him, I really need to redo the epics I gave this guy, because they're not that good. I think I just wanted to see how many I could give him. But just looking at the ones I gave him, I feel like this would be a pretty okay defensive companion. He might suck, honestly, but I think in a defensive setting, if he can get like Quick Draw 3 or Parting Shot 3 or something like that, he could be okay. Maybe even Crossfire 3, I don't know. He could be okay. As of right now, he's kind of sucks. But he comes with an Epic Strike and Pirate, so he might be okay. You know, what's his armor? Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Anyway, Rooster Cogburn. who is also a really decent companion that everybody gets. Now, he used to be really bad, and a lot of effort to get him, but he's okay now. I mean, I think he comes with True Grit. I think he comes with True Grit. He doesn't have any Epic Strikes, which is why I have Joe Bean ahead of him. And his damage is not as good and everything like that, but he's okay. I gave him Double Tap 2 and Burst Fire 2. I recommend getting him just because, especially towards the end of Cool Ranch, he's kind of nice to have, just to have a higher level companion going into Mushu. Even if his powers and epics aren't that great, but in terms of Mushu, they're pretty decent. But yeah, so he's probably one of my lower tier musketeers. Man, this is going to take forever. Next we have Sergeant Sanders. He's one of the chicken veterans that you get. He is a pretty okay. Okay, he sucks. But he gets Overwatch 3, which is not bad, and an Epic Strike. And then I think he comes with Return Fire, but I give him Overwatch 3 and a Double Tap. So I don't really use him more than anything than getting gold. Same with Cogburn, but you know, he's good at getting gold, so he's got that going for him. Same with Lightning Hair. Lightning Hair is pretty much he is the exact same. I think he just has higher armor. So yeah, just because he's the exact same, I'm not really going to talk about the Bison Hunter that much. He's not good, but he can get you some pet stuff. Same with the Eagle Archer. The Eagle Archer, you get Aquila, and she is a severe disappointment. But she comes with an Epic Strike and I think Parting Shot, which isn't too terrible. I mean, it's terrible, but it's not too terrible. At least she comes with an Epic Strike, and she can get you pets too, so that's pretty good. Hadenari Kuga also is really good when it comes to getting pets. So yeah, that's what I use him for. He is definitely one of the worst Musketeer companions just in the game, but which sucks because I think he looks really cool and he could be good, especially since the archers and that you face in Mushu are actually pretty good. But he doesn't get burst fire, so he's not amazing. Anyway, those are the Musketeers. So I hope y'all like my builds and everything. But let's move on to the swashbucklers. So right now, my number one swashbuckler, I usually trade between these two, but I have El Toro just because of his buff. El Toro is always going to be up there on most people's crews. Some people don't like him. I don't really care about personality-wise or whatever, as long as he's a good companion. But I have most of my swashbucklers with Riposte 3, just because I really like Riposte 3. You know, you do a little bit more damage with Riposte, and it's just really nice to build up that dodge. I also give him Relentless 2 and then Blade Storm. Some people just do a Blade Storm and one Relentless, or two Blade Storms and one Relentless. I think at level 75, El Toro is going to be really, really good when he can get that extra Blade Storm. But as of right now, he's good, but I wouldn't say he's amazing. I think El Toro would be an amazing companion if he can get Blade Storm too. But he's still really, really good and can do a lot of damage to just like one enemy or two enemies. He can do a lot of stuff. So I would definitely have him ranked high in your swashbucklers. So I'm going to move. If I had my choice to put him, I'd put him ahead of Nausicaa, just personally, just because I really like the buff that El Toro gives you. Anyway, now Rodolfo, I would sometimes change him between El Toro or I would sometimes interchange Rodolfo and El Toro. Because even though Rodolfo doesn't have a buff, he gets the Epic Strike and he has an extra Blade Storm, which is really nice. He's just such a nice companion, and if you're a swashbuckler, I fully recommend getting a Rodolfo. He is a very good companion, very reliable, crit's decent, and just because he's so reliable, I'm going to probably put him... I'd put him ahead of Nausicaa. Would I put him ahead of... Yeah, I'd put him ahead of Nausicaa. Nausicaa's alright, but I really need to change my Nausicaa, because I don't know how I feel about the Quick Adjust 2 now that I'm looking at it. Next we have Contessa, and I think Contessa's a pretty good companion. I just have her low, because I personally am not a big fan of her. Now it's nice that she has the Walk in Darkness and the Backstab, but I feel like she doesn't crit a whole lot, and I feel like she's just not a very entertaining companion to have. It's kind of weird to have her on the team, just me, personally, but she's okay. I think that they can do a lot more work with her. I'm looking forward to seeing how they work her into the story in Crocotopia, if we go to Crocotopia. Because, you know, she kind of was one angle into the story. Like, Like she was only there for the whole Valencia revolt and everything. So she's I don't know what other substance she has, but besides from story aspect, she's a pretty solid offensive companion. On most of my other ones, I think I have her with Riposte 3 and Relentless 2, and I'd probably do that on this guy when next time I'm able to change it. I think that's a little bit better to have. She can definitely defeat one guy on her own, but I personally not a huge fan of her. So if I had to put her anywhere, I'd put her ahead of Lefty, I'd say. I think that's a pretty decent judgment right there. Now that I'm looking at this, I should probably have Lefty a little lower. Maybe like right here, because I think he's just level 72. That's the pretty much big benefit he has. So I'd probably put him right here. Anyway, next we have Shiruku Neko. I hope I'm saying that right, but she is a solid defensive. I'd say she's a defensive swashbuckler, but defensive swashbucklers are always good to have on your team because she can tear up one guy for sure. Now, I think most people, if I had recommend a build, I think Riposte 3 and maybe a First Strike 3 would be pretty good for her. If you wanted to just have that, as she just tears up one guy. Overall, she is not that bad though. So I recommend getting her if you'd like to get her. She's pretty decent. She can do a lot for you. Especially in the later parts of Mushu, she's really good to have. Maybe early parts of Mollybone. So yeah, I recommend getting her. Anyway, going on to the main companions, going back to the main companions a bit. Monkey King is terrible, which I hate because I really like Monkey King. I wish he could be a lot better. Most of my classes, or most of my characters, have him with Bladestorm 2 and Riposte 3. Now this guy I gave him a second chance because, you know, I want Monkey King to have a second chance because I wish he was better. I wish he had an epic strike. I wish he had anything. But until he has anything, until he's usable, he's going to be collecting gold for me. So yeah. Same with Ju Hao. But Ju Hao always sucks. And I never know how to build him because... Ooh, sorry about that. I never know how to build him because he's just so terrible and he only gets like 3 epics anyway. I think he comes with Cheap Shot. He's just so bad. So yeah, my best Witch Doctor and my only Witch Doctor is Old Scratch. Now I don't have him promoted because I don't see the need to promote him right now on my Musketeer. I'll probably promote him later, maybe when I'm a higher level or when I have people to do it with. But he's okay for my Musketeer. He's obviously he's going to be much better to use on like a Witch Doctor or a Privateer or something like that. But definitely on a Witch Doctor. But he's all right. He comes with these 3 Mojo Flows or Mojo Flows, and that helps out a lot for Witch Doctors. Comes with the Jobu's Breath, which is a decent one to have. And then I don't ever really use the minion summon. Some people do, but yeah. I recommend doing Improved Mojo Blast 3 as early as possible because that 10% damage is pretty sweet. I also give him Mojo Echo 2 and Coward's Bane 2 because I think he comes with... No, he comes with a Mojo Blast, but I gave him Coward's Bane 2 for some reason. But yeah, I don't really use him much on this guy, so if I could change that, that'd probably be a good idea. I don't think Coward's Bane 2 is really an amazing one to have. Maybe Readied Spell would be better if he has it, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, so those were the Swashbucklers and the,
what is it?
Witch Doctors. I never really moved them, so if I had to put Shiruku Neko anywhere, I'd probably put her, whoops. Okay, I can do this. I'd put her ahead of Holly Jolly Roger, and Monkey King I would put ahead of the Eagle Archer, just because, well, yeah, I'd put her ahead of the Eagle Archer just because these guys have an epic strike. Ju Hao, you can stay at the back of my companion list forever. And then we have Old Scratch, who I would put ahead of... I'm going to put him ahead of Shiruku Neko. I just don't use Old Scratch on this guy. Some people have strats with Old Scratch on Musketeers, but I just don't see the need for it, so I really don't have him on here. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on to... Oh, whoops. This is going to be a very long video, by the way. I'm just realizing that. Let's move on to Ratbeard, who is a pretty decent companion overall. Definitely better on Buccaneers, but he is a very, very good defensive companion. I always recommend the Hold the Line 3, Repel Borders 3, if you want to make sure that they can't hit or can't dodge. It's pretty cool. And then I gave him Blade Storm 2, and then he gets Turn the Tide 2 and Pirate. But I really like the Hold the Line 3, Repel Borders 3 build. Now, I really don't use Ratbeard much past Book 2 or whatever, but I think that on Buccaneers he's pretty useful to have. He can maybe be a top tier one on Buccaneers, depending on how you use him. He comes with a knockback power, defensive power, and he also comes with a Super Strike and a Buccaneer Smash, which is good against Swashbucklers and Musketeers and stuff like that. I'm losing my voice because I've been talking so much about these companions. This was a bad video idea. Anyway, I also have the Haywire Dragoon on this guy. And he'd be a lot better on a Buccaneer. I could see him being on my top couple for a Buccaneer. But he has Hold the Line 2, Relentless 2, and a Blade Storm 2. I was hoping to get a Hold the Line 3 build with him, but he can't. I don't think he can train Hold Line 3. Or if he can, I just didn't give him it. Because I think he comes with Hold the Line, so I wanted to give him some more of that. He's alright, and he comes with these pretty good powers. He's alright, but he would be a lot better on a Buccaneer, so that's why I don't really use him a lot. Speaking of which, I forgot to do. So I'm going to probably put Ratbeard right here, just because he's a Buccaneer, and I can't really use him, but I can use Shiruku. And I would definitely I'll put you ahead of Ratbeard, just because you have Relentless 2 and Blade Storm 2, and you're more offensive based.
I'm ready.
Now, Tyson's one of my favorites, and I wish he wasn't on my Musketeer. I do have him on my Buccaneer, but he's a really good Buccaneer companion to have. He uses Relentless and Blade Storm a lot. So I would recommend having him for your build if you're a Buccaneer. He's not a bad one to grab from the Crown Shop. He comes with an Epic Strike, and I gave him Relentless 2, Blade Storm 2, and Repel Borders 2. This one can be whatever you want it to be, but I like Repel Borders. I think he gets 2 promotions, so that's another good thing about him. But he'd be a lot better on my Buccaneer, so that's why I put him below the Ratbeard, because I like Ratbeard, so I usually have him higher up. Next we have Hercules, who is a okay companion. He's really good on Buccaneers for sure, and he can get you through a good portion of Aquila. But he's just not as necessary on my Musketeer, you know, so I don't really use him a whole lot, but I think he has a lot of potential to be a really good companion, especially if they promote him in the future. So I'm going to put him ahead of Holly Jolly Roger right now, just behind Tyson, because Tyson's just a lot better. But I gave Hercules Vengeance Strike, Blade Storm 2, and Relentless 2. I think on my Buccaneer I have him with Vengeance Strike 2, and then Relentless 2, and Blade Storm, or something like that. But yeah, that's how I build him right now. Anyway, speaking of companions who I wish were a lot better, I'm going to go with the Masamune Goto. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And he is okay. He'd be a lot better on my Buccaneer, because he's a Buccaneer. But he comes with Riposte, I think, and then give him a Blade Storm and Relentless 2. So that's pretty cool, but he's just not that good. So I'll probably put him ahead of... I still probably put him ahead of Monkey King, though, because Monkey King, well, yeah, I'd put him ahead of Monkey King, just because of Relentless 2, because Monkey King is so disappointing. And last we have Ramba, who is an okay defensive Buccaneer to have. I don't really care about the build, because I'm never going to use him more than anything than to collect pets. But he's okay to have for that, and he comes with an Epic Strikes, and I would definitely say he is better than the Archer. I'd say he's better than the Archer, so he's got that going for him. Next is the starter companion, Wing Chun, who is a pretty good one to have on a Privateer. And on a Musketeer, he is utterly useless after like level 20. But he's okay to have. I like him. I'm hoping I'm not talking too quiet. I'm getting a little sore right now. But like I said, he's okay to have. He's a lot better to have on a Privateer. And he gets a lot of epics and stuff. He has a heal and the accuracy buff. I don't think he can. He might be able to train Riposte 3. I don't think he can, but I have him Riposte 2, Relentless 2, Bladestorm 2, and Repel Borders. I believe he comes with Riposte, so that's a pretty decent one to have early on. But yeah, he's just a privateer, and he's just hard to use on Musketeer. And I would probably put him ahead of Tyson. Actually, I'd put him ahead of Ratbeard because of the heal and the accuracy. But well, actually, buff doesn't matter too much. I'd put him behind Ratbeard because I like Ratbeard. Then we have Catbeard, who I'm disappointed didn't have a promotion quest in the New Valencia Part 2. But we don't talk about Valencia Part 2. No, we don't talk about that one. That was a bad time. But he can get Riposte 3 and Relentless 2 and Bladestorm. A lot of people don't like him, but I really like Catbeard. I think he's a pretty good companion. I recommend building him up. He's good for the early parts of Aquila, I'd say, especially on Privateer. But I really like Catbeard, so I'm probably going to put him... Okay, I can do this. I'm going to put him ahead of Tice. I'm going to put him ahead of Hercules, because I like Tyson a little more. Then we have Itsun Khan, who is like Diet Wing Chun, because he doesn't have a super strike, but he can get the same powers, pretty much. And I got him maybe like, I don't know how old this game is, but let's say like 7-8 years ago. Like right when the game was kind of just starting out. That's when I got him, when they just released the pack, and I got him randomly. I just was gifted a pack, so I'm like, alright, I'll open this up, and then boom, I got him. So he's okay. He crits decent amount. He's just, you know, a privateer, so I can't use him a lot. Decent armor and decent resistance, though. So if I had to put him anywhere, I'd put him right behind Hercules, because he is... Well, nah, I'd put him ahead of... Well, yeah, I'd put him ahead of Hercules. He's got more power and stuff like that. And he has got a heal, so I'd put him there, but he's not bad. I also have Lucky Jack Russell on this guy. Now, if I could redo it, I'd probably get the mouse from Presidio instead of Jack Russell, and I'd put this guy on my privateer. But that was back in the day before I knew how to play the game, so this is who I have. And I think he's a very underrated companion. In terms of the Presidio companions, he's definitely in the top 2. I'd put him ahead of Gaspard. I think Milo's the best one, but I'd put him ahead of Gaspard at least. You can get Repel Borders 3 and Vengeance Strike and all these. Relentless 2, Bladestorm 2, comes with a Super Strike and Pirate, and he uses them a lot. Now the only problem, since he's a privateer, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but I still just really like him, even though he's not really useful for me on this character. So I'm going to put him ahead of Hercules, because he's definitely a lot... I'm actually going to put him a bit ahead of Itsun Khan, because I just like him a lot better than Itsun Khan, even though Itsun's got the heal. Anyway, next we have Gracie Conrad, who I'm also kind of disappointed we didn't get a promotion quest for, but it's okay. But she's also terrible, so I'm okay. I'm kind of okay with that. I don't really know how to build Gracie Conrad. I think that I could probably work out a decent one if I put in the effort, but I don't really use her. I like her, but I don't really use her a lot. So right now I have Hold the Line 2, Bladestorm 2, Second Chance, and Vengeance Strike. Wow, these are some horrible epics I have on her. But, you know, I don't really use her. She's a privateer, so I'm sure my build on my other classes are maybe a little bit better. But yeah, anyway. She does get the War Golem, which I never use, but it has Self-Destruct, which is nice. The Mine is pretty sweet to have, and the Epic Strike. So she's pretty decent to have in early Marleybone if you're looking for just a higher level of companion to have, to kind of tank and stuff like that. I think she can be used as a pretty solid tank. But if I could put her anywhere, I'd put her... Okay, oh my god. I'd put her right above the Holly Jolly Roger just because she's a main companion and she's got Epic Strike and Proximity Mines and stuff like that. And a lot more health. Decent armor and magic resist as well. And finally, we have the Black Storm Elder, who is alright. He gets Bladestorm 2 and Relentless 2. But the big problem with him is that he's a privateer, and I don't really use him a whole lot, other than collecting pets. Now, if I had to organize him, I would put him ahead of... I'd put him ahead of the Archer, The only drawback with him is I don't like the Jobu's breath,
Yeah.
and I like how Ramba has the
Yes, Captain.
epic strike. But if he had like an epic strike or a heal, I'd probably put him ahead of Ramba, just because I like Relentless 2 and Blade Storm 2, and Witch Hunter's not bad either. But yeah, so he's a pet collector right now. So that was my companions, and this is going to be a super long video, and I hope my voice isn't super hoarse by the end, because I've been talking about these guys too long. But I'll try to release these every so often, sporadically, as I go through my list of characters. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed, if y'all were able to sit through that. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It's always appreciated. I really enjoy the support I've gotten from being back on this channel and getting more content produced. But yeah, I think I'm going to end that there because I don't want to talk anymore. So I'll see y'all later. Take it easy.